ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا حبيبنا وطبيب نفوسنا أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعليه تيمين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين ولعنة الدائم على أعدائهم وغاصبي حقوقهم ومنكري فضائلهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تعالى في محكمه الكتاب المجيد: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر، ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر، تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر، سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. صدق الله العلي العظيم. صل على محمد وعلى. According to a tradition of the Prophet, a person came and asked him in regards to the night of Qadr. As we are aware that we exactly cannot pinpoint which night is the night of Qadr. The reason because that every night a person should look for the night of Qadr. The awliya tend to ask whole year that they be given the opportunity to understand what the night of Qadr. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. The night of Qadr is seeing. The night of Qadr is perceiving with our soul, with all our senses. That is the night of Qadr. Because it's تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالْرُوحُ, and the malaika descends from the heaven. Unless or until a person who is of that insight is able to see the tanazzalul malaikatu war-ruh, then he will say, oh, it is the night of Qadr. So therefore it has been not completely disclosed when is the night of Qadr. With traditions, with the help of sayings of the Masumin, and with certain analogies, we could say that, okay, it is the month of Ramadan, it is the odd nights as been mentioned, and it could be the 19th or 21st or 23rd perhaps, which we have a greater emphasis of it being on the 23rd night, which is tonight. That could be possible because of the nuzul, the descent of taqdirat. Fiha, tonight is the night in which all of the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala come in, departs, yufriq, firaq, from which comes from the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in regards to each and every individual and the destiny of everything, right? So that takes place by the recognition of the hujjah of the Khalifatullah. So the descent of the malaika have to take place. It is tanazzalul, right? So therefore that has to take place on the imam waqt. So the indication here that as it is the tanazzalul malaika and the imam and the shahadat of imam is on the 20th night, which is the 21st, that night is also gone. Then you have the 23rd, which is the new nuzul of the destiny with the Imam Hasan Mushtaba alayhi salam. So Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. So this also points out in that direction. So you have the 19th and 21st, where the Imam was there, and then the 23rd, which is the new destiny with the new Imam al-Hujjah, which is Imam Hasan Mushtaba alayhi salam. This analogy also, if we strike this analogy, this also recognizes the 23rd night to be of a greater value compared to other nights. Having said that, you have traditions, for example, in the du'as of the daily month of Rajab, you would find 25th night, 27th night also been emphasized, but the 23rd is of a greater sort of emphasis by the imams, by the scholars, by the Prophet as well, because the man said, I have not been able to come from the desert to really attend the amal. Which night shall I come? Then he said, come on 21st and 23rd. He said, still, it will be difficult for me. Then he said, come on 23rd. So this also indicates that perhaps it is if we investigate the phenomena of the night of Qadr, what's happening? Why is this night so important? What is it? Every reality that reflects unity in multiplicity, that becomes of a great value. Every reality that reflects, unity in multiplicity, and it depends on what level the unity in multiplicity is reflected. Obviously, وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ, like we said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is everywhere, wherever you are. So we see nothing but kasrat, nothing but multiplicity is here, right? But how much of unity, how much of there is the reflection of the divine? If there is a reflection of the divine there, then that place, that makan, that zaman is of a greater value, right? Obviously, this masjid, this Hussainiya, where you have a Kroger grocery store, where وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ, right? But the reflection of the divine is greater in this place, so this value is greater. Very simple as that, right? So the zaman or the makan in which there is the greater reflection of unity taking place within that multiplicity, that becomes the greatest ayat. That becomes very valuable. That becomes the very medium and vehicle through which one could connect to God. If we take this as a principle and we apply it in many of the things that we believe in, like the Imams, for instance, they are the perfect reflection of unity in multiplicity. That is why, like in a few nights, we've been looking at the personality of Amirul Mominin, where Hazrat Amirul Mominin is considered as Hadi, as the name of Hadi, the manifestation, the mazhar of hidayat, the mazhar of haqq, the mazhar of ilm, the mazhar of rahmat, right? The mazhar of qudrat, right? So therefore, with this principle, where one could find multiplicity reflecting in, where unity reflecting in that multiplicity to an utmost level, that becomes very unique. And it cannot be possible that in this dunya there be no multiplicity. There has to be duality and multiplicity. In all of the concepts that we have today, there is duality in it. But this duality is taking us to unity. Khawf and raja, fear and hope. These are the two wings, as this hadith says. These are the two wings through which a man will reach to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is that duality there. Me and Allah. My prayers and Allah. There is that duality there. In every little thing you'll see that because God have created in pairs, right? Male and female, water and fire, right? You always find this. This is what Quran is encouraging us. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ أَفَلَا يَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي آيَاتٍ. Don't you do contemplating the ayat and the signs? And this is what we are supposed to come to the understanding through these signs. And when the opposites are seen in a one sort of reality, then that becomes a greater ayat, right? It's opposite. You are looking unity in multiplicity, nothing but opposite itself, right? You have mountains, which is with ice, but inside it is fire. It's opposite. These are ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is frozen from outside, but within that heart of that mountain is that heat, right? It's hot. You have these sort of natural, what you call these, saunas, which are under or within that heart of that cold mountain. This is nothing but the ayat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that ayat is regarded as much of a greater value because it's reflecting those opposites, right? And like the land of Kaaba itself, where it's dry, where it's nothing, but you will not find any fruit that doesn't exist in Makkah when you go to Hajj, right? And this is the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I will make this house, the most, source of hayat, Not only does the dunya, so much of activity of aeroplanes, flights, so many people benefit from it regardless of Muslims. Companies, they all benefit from this one festival of Hajj, isn't it? So what I'm trying to say, what we are trying to do here is to understand what this night is. What is the value of it? What's happening? It is a miracle in itself. Laylatul Qadr is a mu'jizah, it's a miracle. That's what is happening. And we are witnessing that and we are part of it. So as we are part of this miracle of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how we should be tonight. How we should be connecting to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through this night. Right? So as it says that tanazzalul malaikatu war-ruh, all of the fiha yufriqu min amrin hakim, firaq is taking place tonight. So that's from that unity is a multiplicity is being struck by God. That is the descent of the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the nuzul of the Quran itself. Right? And unity is taking place. Where is this Quran descending? Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. On that night, where is it descending? Upon the heart of the Prophet. That is the unity. Upon the heart of that insan kamil, whoever the hujjah is of the time. That is unity. Inni tarikum fikum al-thaqalain. Duality once again. Kitab Allah wa itrati. I leave behind you two lofty weights. Kitab, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr. Wa itrati ahli bayti. And the ahli bayt alayhimus salam. These are the two things. And they will not separate till they meet me. That's once again unity. That is the ascent. You have the descent. You have the descent, which is the nuzul of the Quran upon the heart of the Prophet. That is the point. And that is the beginning of the ascent. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The ruju of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is through the Quran. So it is that type of night tonight. That unity, that nuzul is taking place, reaching to its perfect point. And then from there, the ascent of us takes place. Our du'as are mustajab. We supplicate and we ask for du'as. And Allah is the one, as we recited in Surah Hadith, that whatsoever descends and whatsoever ascends, Allah is the witness of that. So whatever we are asking, it's all ascending. And it is because of this barakah of this nuzul. That's why it says, Inna anzalnahu. Inna is used. We have revealed. Once again, why this we? You have the aspect of that sort of duality. You have the aspect of all of the asma ilahi all together. And then you have the aspect of the Zat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where it is saying that Inna. It's not saying Rahman or Rahim, which is majmu'eh, which contains all of the asma ilahi, which contains all of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it is that night where the greatest ayat, the greatest sign that one could ever imagine is the night of Qadr. It is this night. And we've been blessed with it. Now we have to see who is the most kind, loving towards us than any other but the wujud, but the existence of God Himself. God is the one who is most kind to us, right? Than anybody else. He is the most kind. He is the most generous. He is the most merciful. As He is the most kind, as He is Rahim, that is why He has given us night of Qadr. That is why He has showed us the paths of the hereafter. What will happen to a person when he dies? How he should really prepare for his death. There's a hadith which talks about Bani Adam, and here in this hadith he says that when death happens, then the veils will be lifted in front of his eyes and he will be able to see, right? And it's explaining, there isn't any other divine book which talks about Qiyamah, which talks about death in the intricate details the way Quran talks about it. the way eschatology is discussed in the Quran. None other books discusses it. The traditions and the Masumin, how they talk about the what will unfold on the Day of Judgment, what will unfold in Barzakh, what will happen when a person is about to die, in what state he is. None of the saints or prophets have discussed in this detail, but the Imams have discussed it. It is out of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah is merciful towards us. He has sent us these, information so that we prepare ourselves, so that we know where we are going. Right? When that hour of death comes, and what will happen on the Day of Judgment. In one of the khutbahs of Hazrat Amir, it says that on the Day of Judgment, a person, when he will be raised from the grave, he will be standing for his judgment to be passed. He will not be able to breathe because of the sweat. Because he will be sweating so much, and he will ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, "Oh Allah, put me in hell. This is worse than hell for me right now." Who have described to this minute detail? Then you have, obviously, those people of the path, the spiritual guides and wayfarers. They say, okay, perhaps this means that when you are under a shower, when there's a lot of water coming, you can't breathe. So either it is that a person will not be able to breathe because of how much he will be sweating, or it is that his grave will be filled with his own sweat. He will drown in his sweat, that he will not be able to breathe. When the ayahs of the Qiyamah used to descend, the color of the Prophet used to change. The Prophet would cry when he would read the verses, or the verses of the Qiyamah was sent to him. He would be afraid of. He would cry for it. He would seek for forgiveness, because he's aware of it. He knows what it is and what is the reality of it. There's a relationship of him and that. When the Masumin used to say Maliki Yawmiddin, they used to go unconscious. They would say, we saw Maliki Yawmiddin. We saw the Lord. When they used to say Labbaik, Allahumma Labbaik for the Hajj, they would go unconscious. The ghulam would come and sprinkle water upon their face, and they would say that I was in perfect communion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now you brought me back to the multiplicity again. The unity was taking place. Right? So they are aware of it. And there is some relationship between them and the reality that will unfold. The existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There was a Amir al-Mu'minin was in the mosque, and the mother comes running. And she said, I have lost all my children. I only have one son who is few months old. And he is, while we were sleeping on top of the roof, because it was very hot in the summer, as we know that we sleep in India and Pakistan and other places as well. For the heat, they used to sleep on the top of the roofs of the houses. We were sleeping, and this child of mine, he crawled, and he is sleeping on the the water drain, the drainage of the water, and they used to make it very long. If you look at the drainage of the Kaaba, it's quite long, and they previously used to make it of rock as well, right? The child, he went there and he's sleeping there. Now, I tried everything. I tried to attract him, I tried to show him things and toys, and I even tried to attract him with my milk, but he's not moving, he's there. Then Hazrat Amir said, okay, wait, let me come. So him with all his ashab, they went there. And then he said, how old is your son? He's 6-7 months old. He said, bring another 6-7 months old child. That was brought. And this 6-7 month old and this 6-7 month old, they started speaking to each other in their own sort of baby language. And then after that, that child nicely crawled towards the roof, and he was saved. Everybody was shocked. People would have thought that Hazrat Ali would have said, come, and he would come. Yes, Baidhnillah, for sure. But he wanted to teach us something. He said that this child and that child, there's a relationship. There's sinqiyat. They appreciate each other. When they appreciate each other, they listen to each other. So there has to be a relationship. They are aware of the Day of Judgment. They have a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why they are attracted towards. That is the very reason why we are here. We could have been at home. We could have been sitting watching TV or whatever, having food or going out with our friends. No one have stopped us. Right? We have full ikhtiyar to do so. We have the choice and we have the will to do so. But something brought us here. It is that sinqiyat, that recognition, that understanding, that relationship, that attachment of the soul. That is what has brought us here. And it has kept us here. And by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will take us towards Him. Because He is the most merciful. He loves us the most. So it is tonight to really connect to Him. It is tonight really to do that tawbah. It is that night. Right? So the other means and ways where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He Himself, as we were mentioning, is the anbiya and awliya. As there is a verse in the Quran, He says, blessings and peace, ulaika an'ama Allah, may be the blessings and peace be upon those mu'mineen who are with the salihin, who are with the shuhada, who are with the nabi'een, with the prophets, with the righteous ones, with those who are martyred. Blessings and peace be upon them. Allah is providing us a criteria where we should be. We should be with the anbiya. We should be with the awliya. We should be with the salihin. We should be with the shuhada. That's where we should be. If we are with them, perhaps I'm not from the shuhada, I'm not from the salihin, I'm not from the prophets. But if at least I'm with them, an'am Allah. Allah will provide mercy. Allah will provide the bounties. So us being here, that's what it means. Us participating in these nights and any occasion that one should really grab that opportunity, as Hazrat Amir says that opportunities are like clouds and one really have to grab it. So one really look for those opportunities. في أيام الدهر منكم نفحات فتعرضوا. During your life there is sort of breezes that are coming from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make yourself under these breeze so that you could spring, so that spring comes, so that you could make use of it, utilize it. Allahumma inni as'aluka mujibati rahmatik. We ask for the mujibat of rahmah. We ask for different opportunities, different means by which that rahmat could nuzul, that rahmat could come into our life. That's what we ask. Allahumma inni as'aluka mujibati rahmatik wa hazaima maghfiratik. In the taqibat of Zuhur prayer, we are asking for certain mujibat, and tonight is that one of that mujibat. This place is that one of that mujibat. So for us to fund, for us to support, all and all becomes nothing but mujibat of rahmah. And especially tonight, I think the brothers also will be trying to fundraise as well. But what a night to fundraise. One of the actions of tonight is that to begin tonight by giving sadaqah, is by giving charity. When a person gives charity on a Thursday night or on a Friday, he is safe for the whole week. When a person gives charity in the morning, he is safe for the morning. If a person gives charity on the night of Qadr, he is safe for the whole year. Right? You just have to connect these things and come to that understanding and take that step, whatever that may be. So even funding of a place, even supporting a place, volunteering for this place becomes that mujibat of rahmah, becomes that source of mercy for us. So being with the prophets, being with the salihin, being with the shuhada, this becomes that means, right? The other we tend to find is that tears, shedding tears. This is something that we have to, practice. Yes, it is not easy, to bring that tear in our eyes. But something that we have to, daily, at nights, Thursday nights, through different du'as that we like, to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Amir in Dua Sabah, ask for, oh Allah, provide me with ashk, with tears. Provide me that. But what type of tear? A tear that is hot, that is garam, that is, that is warm, those types. Because there are two types of tears. There's tears which are cold. There are tears as well. As they say, qar, qurrata al-ayn, Qar means something that is cold. Right? Qurrata aini means the coolness of the eyes. Right? There are qar, there's tears which are considered as cold tears. For example, if something is given to us and we become very happy, right? Tears come in our eyes, tear of joy. But there are other type of tear which Hazrat Amir is asking, those are the tears of firaq, the tears of separation. Separation from Ma'bud, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Amir, last night we were talking about his awsaf. In the middle of the night, people would see him with the hand on his beard, would be crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Will be in the sajda, the munajat of Amirul Mu'mineen, Maulaya, Maulai, right? On that level of and station of Kamal he is at. But look how he is connecting to God. What about you and I? Where do we stand? And what are we really doing for that? Even after him connecting in that fashion, and we said, min qillat zat, right? What a little I have taken and I'm taking from this dunya for that akhirah, for the hereafter. Even after being in that fashion. Nevertheless, in munajat, in dua Abu Hamza Thumali, we recite, Qareebul Masafa. The masafa, the journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is very qareeb. Allah is not far. Aqrabu ilayhi. He is nearer than our own jugular vein. But it requires that sinqiyat, that sort of relationship. That commonality has to be there in us and Allah. And these commonalities is been introduced by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself out of his mercy. Isn't it not possible that Allah, when we could implant or tiny of the viruses in a person, and with that it could multiply in our body, with that it could ask the medicine not to have effect on that, with that it could made the doctors have no sort of inspiration in regards to how to treat the patient as well. It's possible. Everything is possible. But on the other hand, He always favored us. He has given us. And when we get something little, we tend to nag and complain. But this nagging and complaining, right, should not be done. Why? Because that, what Allah is testing us through, is a blessing. A hadith al-Qudsi, which comes from the Prophet. I will read that and read the translation. Very interesting hadith. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I'll read it in Farsi and then read the translation of it. The author of the book called Najwe-Hai Arifane Ayatollah Tahriri, he mentions, he says, "Bazi az bandegan mu'minam ra juz ba faqr imanishun islah nemishavad." Some of the bandegan mu'min, some of those who are mu'min, their iman is not rectified, it is not correct unless or until they are faqir. If they are faqir, they are mu'min, right? If I give them, they will forget me. Because iman is very important. Because life will be few years and it's gone. No, even if there be the treasure of Qarun, it will be finished. And it is finished, right? Qarun is no longer. It is that iman. And Allah is the one who could put that iman in our hearts. Imam Sajjad alayhi salam in one of the du'as recite, he says that provide me with that iman which was in the hearts of those magicians of Pharaoh. They were busy in doing magic for the ministry of Pharaoh in different parts of Egypt, hundreds of miles away from the capital where Pharaoh was. They were fed by Pharaoh. They were workers of Pharaoh. What happened? Pharaoh, he himself challenges Musa. Yawmuz Zina. There's a psychological warfare. If one really examines the story of Musa and Pharaoh, there's a psychological warfare. Musa says, okay, fine, let's have a competition, let's have a match, so to speak, right? Pharaoh says, Yawmuz Zina, let's do that. Because that Yawmuz Zina is a day of feast where everybody gathers. So Pharaoh wanted to kind of, put pressure on Musa alayhi salam. It's kind of like threatening, all options on the table, so to speak, yeah? But Musa is Musa. But Khomeini is Khomeini, No matter what. If you fear us with death, we are the children of Hussein. If you fear us with hunger, we are the children of Ramadan. 12 years of negotiation. In history, you haven't seen this type of negotiation. 5 superpowers against one country. Just because of that Iman. Iman on that ghaib. So here Pharaoh says, Yawmuz Zina. He said, okay, fine. And he was shocked. What's going on here? I was trying to play my trick. So these individuals, these magicians who were spread across the nation of Pharaoh, the Mamlakat of Pharaoh, they were all called. They all came and they saw the miracle of Musa alayhi salam, and they brought Iman upon it. Not that they brought Iman upon it, but they became shaheed. They could have never imagined what daraja, where the Imam is asking, let our Iman be like the Iman of those magicians. It is Allah who made that happen. That's what is required by us, is to connect to our Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Connect to Allah. And then look how He takes care of us. That tawakkul, leave it. The night of destiny is tonight. Leave it on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is a reason why He's delaying this hadith, right? Their Iman is not Islah, doesn't become right except with that of, faqr. Then he says, Islah نمیشود و اگر او را بی نیاز کنم او را فاسد میکند. If I make him بی نیاز, then he'll become فاسد. بعضی از بندگان مؤمنم جز غنا و ثروتمندی چیزی دیگری برای ایمانش سلاح نیست و اگر او را فقیر کنم ایمانش را فاسد میکند. There are certain مؤمنین بندگان غنا, money is needed for them. It is required that they are rich. If they are rich, they are mu'min. If they become faqir, their iman will be. So I make them rich, so that they remain rich, so that their iman is safe. There is something, the love that they have for Hussein, the love that they have for Fatima. I provide them because of that iman, because of which they have. And they also donate, alhamdulillah. They also carry out because of that love that they have with Ahl Bayt. They do that, they give that, right? So I give them, I provide them, so that their iman remains safe. Then بعضی از بندگان مؤمنم ایمانشون جز با مرض اصلاح نمیشود. I give them illness. Their iman is rectified by the illness that they have. Recently a brother was mentioning the other day, I realized, the ni'mat. I was complaining of not having shoes. I realized, that it is a blessing when I saw someone without feet. Right? I was complaining that I don't have shoes. But when I saw someone who had no feet, then I said, Shukranillah. So juzba marad, by illness, I test them. It is through that, so that their iman becomes, right? Then, bazi az mu'minan nesh juzba sahat islah nemishavad. و اگر او را مرید کنم ایمانش فاسد میشود. By well-being, their iman is rectified, but if I make him mariz, به راستی به بندگانم را تدبیر میکنم و چون به دلهای ایشون عالم هستم. And I do tadbir, and I, organize it in accordance to their heart, in accordance to how they are, so that their iman remains intact. So if we face any issues and difficulties and problems, it is for a reason. Allah is testing us. We have to hold on and cling on to the rope of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and compare us with others. A very beautiful principle given by Amirul Mu'mineen. In regards to the dunya, compare yourself to those who do not have. Oh Hassan, if you are eating yogurt and bread, compare yourself to those who are just eating bread. Do not compare yourself to those who are eating meat and rice or bread. Right? Then you will be thankful. In spirituality, compare yourself to those who are higher to you. Those who are sabiqun as-sabiqun. So that you can always try and strive for that maqam. And what a beauty is in this, that one does not feel tired and one does not feel hopeless as well. It is not depressing. Yes, we don't have it, but we have that umeed. We have that hope, right? To connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And tonight is that very night. Tonight is that very night. And the ruh, the spirit, the Jan of tonight is no one but Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. According to the many traditions that we find, that tonight's ruh and Jan is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. A tawassul to the Abu Abdullah. In one of the riwayat of Kamilul Ziyara from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, which says that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, "I'lamu anna al-Hussein," know that Imam Hussein alayhi salam is near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and wa yarzuqu, and Allah is providing him with rizq min haythu kan, from whatever direction, from wherever he wants. Allah is giving him the rizq to Imam Hussein, obviously Shaheed and Shaheed, Sayyidul Shuhada. But Imam Hussein alayhi salam is given that rizq. But in what state is Imam Hussein alayhi salam? How is Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Imam Hussein alayhi salam, wa huwa da'iman, he is always looking at four things from barzakh. Masumin, they are all in barzakh. And we think, this is something that I'll just mention quickly in the margin. We think that the majalis and the matam and the azadari and this tragedy of Imam Hussein does not remain after a person leaves this dunya. Well, he's gone in barzakh, he's having the pleasure of Jannah, there's nothing to worry about, it's over now. No. Even in barzakh, why is it that Fatima comes from barzakh? Why is it Fatima's cries for the shahadat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam? Even she is in barzakh. Imam Hussein, he is in barzakh too, right? The Prophet, they are all in barzakh as well. But why they came to the plain of Karbala? Right? Why did they cry? Why were they doing matam? Right? It's one of that point what is one of that incident in the creation, in the history of creation, that will always remain no matter what. The martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. La yawmuka yawmuka Abu Abdullah. It will always be there. Even in the hereafter as well. Just for our youngsters to understand, when we moved here, our parents, they faced so much of difficulty. They worked so hard. Sometimes 2 jobs, 3 jobs, gas station here, there. Just for what? So that you children could go to a good school. So that you could have all of those things which you really want to have. Which we should really all value these things. We do not appreciate how much it really takes for a father to really work hard to bring you that Xbox to your house. To put you that Wii. So that when you go to school and you speak to your friends, so that you could also say that, yes, I have an Xbox. It takes a lot of hard work for your parents to do that. Right? And not only just now, perhaps they have reached to some certain level today, but when they first moved here, it was not easy. And it's not easy for many. Right? Right? It's not easy. But now if they are in a good state, in a better, position, then when they remember those days, that how difficult it was, still their heart breaks, still tears flows in their eyes. that I used to do night shift, I used to suffer so much. But right now he's having fun. Right now he's all right, But when he remembers that, still that heart sort of aches, right? So if this dunyavi, worldly issue is so much, it impacts us so much, we are talking about Abdullah al-Hussein, right? So here, Abdullah al-Hussein, he looks at 4 things all the time. Number 1, where is he looking? Number 1, he is looking at those ranks where the ashab of Imam Hussein came to help and assist him, to that Safai Karbala. He's looking at there. The second place he's looking at is that very Qatlgah, is that very place where the Mazloom fell. That very place where Fatima cleaned it. One of the ashab of Imam Hussein alayhi salam accompanied him at night so that the enemy should not ambush him. He accompanied him and he came with Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Either it was Burair or Zuhair. And here Imam Hussein said, why are you following me? He said, maybe the enemy might attack you at night, so that I'm here to protect you. Then Imam Hussein took him. Imam Hussein took him to every place where that shaheed will fall. And he says, this is the place where Habib ibn Mazahir will fall. This is the place where Zuhair will be killed. This is the place where Wahab will be killed. This is the place where Ali Akbar will fall. This is the place where I will pick the hands, the decapitated hands, the severed hands of my brother Abul Fazl Abbas. Imam Hussein knew every spot. And finally he comes to that place and he says, the ashab asked him, the companion asked him, how come this place looks very clean? This one spot is so clean. Then Imam Hussein says that my mother have cleaned this place. Oh Burair, do you hear the cries at night? That a lady is crying at night? Burair says, yes, I wanted to inquire and ask you that every night I hear this cry. He said, this is my mother Hussein, my mother Fatima, who is already here. She is crying for me. Right? And this is the place where I will fall. So here Imam Hussein is looking at that second place that he's looking at is that place. That place where Imam Hussein fell. That place where Shimr was on his chest. Where Shimr severed the head of Imam Hussein. The third place is the place which I just mentioned. Every spot and every piece of land where the Shuhada have fallen. He's looking at those places. Now this looking obviously have a meaning. This is mercy. This is a manifestation. When Allah looks, right, He is sending His mercy. Looking means mercy. On the day of judgment, what does Allah say? I will not look at them. Right? That is the qahariyat of Allah. When Allah is meeting and when Allah is looking, that means there is mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Hussein is looking at these places. And the fourth place Hussein is looking at is Zawar. Those who are doing the Zawar. Not only the Zawar, but those who are shedding tears for Hussein. Right now Hussein is looking at us. On this day. On this blessed day of Ghadir. According to the hadith and one of the authentic hadiths in Kamal al-Ziyarah. And he's not just looking. Like I said, looking means mercy. After looking at us, those who love Imam Hussein, those who are shedding tears for Imam Hussein, those who are feeling the pain for Imam Hussein, he turns to Nana, inke liye dua kijiyega. Baba Jan, Amirul Momineen, pray for them. Oh my father, pray for my lovers. Pray for those who are shedding tears for me. Then he looks at Imam Hassan. Bhaiya Jan, inke liye dua kijiyega. Then he raises his hand. Oh Allah, forgive their sins even before they leave the spot they are sitting. And we know the dua of Hussein is mustajab. Can anyone say the dua of Hussein is not mustajab? Hussein have brought us here. The Jan and the Ruh of tonight is Hussein. That is why you have the ziyarat of Imam Hussein on the night of Qadr. Why do we recite the ziyarat of Imam Hussein on the night of Qadr? We give salutations. We say, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Then the salam comes from Aba Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Salamun hiya hatta matla'il fajr.
till the dawn takes place, there is that salam and peace. This salam is that salamun hiya hatta, that salam that is coming from Hussein alayhi salam. Allah lanatullah ala qawm az-zalimin. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون بفاطمة وأبيها وبالها وبنيها وسر المستودع فيها بعدد ما أحاط به علمك بمولانا أبا عبد الله الحسين عليه السلام. يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا قاضي الحاجات يا كافي المهمات إنك على كل شيء قدير. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, haste the reappearance of our 12th Imam. Include us as the faithful companions of the 12th Imam. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, forgive the sins of our marhumin and mahshur them with Ahl Bayt alayhi salam. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, forgive all of our sins. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, do not separate us from Ahl Bayt alayhi salam even for a second in this dunya, in barzakh and akhirah. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, increase our ma'rifat and our understanding day by day of your awliya and of Masumin alayhi salam. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, give shifa kamil to jumla mu'minin and mu'minat who have requested us for prayers. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, give us strength and tawfiq that we do ziyarat of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the ziyarat of the grave of the prophets and Masumin, and particularly the ziyarat arba'in of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, protect the life, honor, dignity of all of the lovers of Ahl Bayt alayhi salam. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, uproot the fitna of ISIS from this world, and also uproot all the evil, those who have no potential guidance and those who intend against Ahl Bayt alayhi salam. Ya Allah, بحق Imam Hussein alayhi salam, protect all of our Maraji Izam, give them strength and tawfiq to create the groundwork of our 12th Imam. Rahimallahu man qara al-Fatiha li arwah al-mu'mineen wal-mu'minat, especially the marhumin of the brothers and sisters who are present here, the volunteers, and also those who have no family members, to recite a Fatiha for them. Al-Fatiha ma salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
If somebody can turn on the lights.